Inside a photo studio, Brooke and her friend are posing under bright lights during a fashion shoot when suddenly Brooke's friend vomits straight into the photographer's face. Within seconds, her behavior turns feral and unnatural. Realizing something is wrong, Brooke and the photographer manage to wrap chains around her, but she quickly breaks free. Brooke then kicks over a large cabinet, flipping it onto the zombie and pinning it down for a brief moment. She then climbs into the rafters near the ceiling to get out of reach. The photographer, however, is not as fortunate. The zombie lunges at her and brutally attacks, turning her into its next victim. Brooke then grabs an iron chain and skillfully throws a grappling hook. The hook catches onto the creature's spine, suspending it mid-air. Brooke drops down from above, but as she lands, the now-infected photographer grabs her leg. Brooke kicks the infected away, grabs a nearby shovel, and smashes it down onto the photographer's head until it's dead. She then rushes to a heavy steel door and swings it open, only to find another zombie standing outside. She slams the door shut instantly and calls her brother, Barry, frantically explaining that some kind of outbreak has begun. Before Barry can fully understand what's happening, the call abruptly cuts off. At that exact moment, his young daughter runs toward him, saying something strange is happening in the kitchen. Barry cautiously investigates and discovers a zombie crouched over the counter, chewing on raw steak. The creature slowly turns and locks eyes with him before suddenly charging. Hearing his shout for help, his wife rushes in and attacks the zombie. After a violent struggle, they manage to shove it back and kill the creature. They then hurriedly put on gas masks to reduce the risk of exposure. Barry grabs a nail gun as a weapon and prepares to guide his family out of the house. But during their escape, both his wife and daughter begin to show signs of infection. Devastated beyond words, Barry is forced to shoot them both in the head with the nail gun. Crushed by grief and guilt, Barry lifts the nail gun toward himself, only to discover it has run out of nails. Meanwhile, soldiers find Brooke and forcibly draw her blood for testing. Even after confirming that she is not infected, they keep her restrained and take her into custody. When Brooke regains consciousness, she finds herself strapped down inside a laboratory surrounded by restrained zombies. A doctor enters and extracts blood from one of the infected and then injects it directly into Brooke. Elsewhere, Barry sits motionless in despair until a man named Chalker appears, armed with a shotgun. After killing several approaching zombies, Barry attempts to grab the shotgun to end his life, but Chalker convinces Barry to keep going and offers to help him find Brooke. Suddenly, Chalker is shot in the head without warning. The shooter steps forward, a terrified man named Benny, who explains that because of his severe nearsightedness, he mistook Chalker for a zombie. The loud gunshot attracts a nearby horde. With no other option, Barry and Benny team up and fight their way through the advancing zombies. They eventually reach a warehouse where a small group of survivors has taken shelter. Barry is nearly inside when a zombie attacks him, forcing him to drag the creature through the door with him. A survivor named Kelly quickly kills the zombie, but now the group realizes they are trapped inside with zombies surrounding the building. They attempt to escape using vehicles parked inside, but none of the engines will start. Barry analyzes the situation and realizes that the virus has somehow altered the chemical properties of the fuel, preventing it from igniting normally. Suddenly, Kelly lights a cigarette and casually tosses the burning match into a puddle of zombie blood on the ground. To everyone's shock, the blood bursts into flames instantly. Barry immediately tests his theory. He lights another match and holds it near a zombie's mouth. When the creature exhales, its breath erupts into flames like a flamethrower. Realizing they've discovered a new energy source, the group begins constructing a custom engine powered by zombie combustion. After making final adjustments and testing their creation, the engine roars to life. They lift the warehouse's rolling gate and drive out, escaping in their newly built zombie-fueled vehicle. While traveling along the highway, they come across a military truck blocking part of the road. Hoping the soldiers might finally have clear answers, Barry approaches them. However, they admit that all they know is that an unidentified virus is spreading through the air itself. The only confirmed detail is that people with a special type of blood appear immune to infection, and Barry, along with his companions, falls into that rare category. When Barry explains that he is heading north in search of his sister, the soldiers inform him that she is currently being held under military supervision. They assured Barry that if he followed their convoy, he would be reunited with her. At the same time, inside a secured military facility, Brooke has already been injected with zombie blood as part of an experiment. Instead of turning into one of the undead, her body reacted in an extraordinary way. She developed the ability to mentally control zombies. When a doctor attempts to inject her with another dose, Brooke uses her newfound power to command a nearby zombie to break loose. The creature attacks and bites the doctor, who rapidly mutates. She then forces the now infected doctor to release her restraints. Once free, she grabs a gun and shoots him dead. As she escapes the laboratory, Brooke realizes she is inside the back of a moving military truck. Through an opening, she sees Barry's car following behind the convoy. The soldiers quickly notice her escape and open fire. Brooke leaps from the truck onto Barry's vehicle, but the soldiers shot the zombie powering the car's combustion engine, shutting it down instantly and stopping the vehicle. Using her psychic control, Brooke summons a zombie from the nearby forest. The creature, completely under her influence, climbs into the engine compartment and reactivates the combustion system. Just as things seemed under control, Benny was suddenly hit by a bullet. The soldiers had caught up again. They retreat into the forest to allow Benny time to recover, but the soldiers track them down and launch an ambush. Barry and Benny are captured and deliberately used as bait to force Brooke out of hiding. Brooke responded by sending her controlled zombies to attack, but there were too few of them, and the soldiers gunned them down quickly. To push Brooke further, the soldiers threatened Barry, preparing to pull out his teeth. Unable to watch her brother suffer, Brooke stepped forward and surrendered. Knowing how powerful she had become, the soldiers decided to execute her immediately. But at that critical moment, Benny finally completed his transformation. Brooke took control of him, using his transformed body to break free and counterattack. She managed to kill several soldiers during the chaos, but Benny was shot and killed in the process. The last surviving soldier suddenly found himself surrounded by the zombies Brooke commanded. Just when it appeared she had won, he fired his weapon and shot Brooke, knocking her down. Enraged beyond control, Barry hurled his boomerang at the soldier, knocking his gas mask off and exposing him to the virus-filled air. As Barry prepared to finish him, Brooke slowly rose back to her feet, and with a single command, she summoned every nearby zombie. They swarmed the exposed soldier and tore him apart. Afterward, Barry and Brooke continued their mission. They hunt down the ruthless soldiers responsible for the experiments and free the survivors held captive. Brooke, now a hybrid of human and zombie, has become the true queen of the zombie realm.